Hello everyone, welcome to Awesome Details, a channel for amazing facts and information. In this video, we are going to talk about the top 7 awesome mysterious unsolved cases. Watch this video till the end for a better understanding, and make sure to subscribe to Awesome Details, and hit that notification bell, so you never miss any of our future uploads. Whether or not you are a die-hard Sherlock Holmes fan, there is no denying that people are naturally curious. We're all fascinated by mysteries, and we're usually eager to solve riddles when we come across them. This is one of the key reasons why people of all ages are growing more interested in escape games. They allow you to put your detective skills to the test while having a one-of-a-kind mystery-solving experience. Here are the top 7 awesome mysterious unsolved cases. Number 7. Roaming ruins. It's not uncommon to see trash in Brazil's Guanabara Bay, but what Robert Marks discovered there in 1982 was a unique type of alien stuff. Some 200 Roman ceramic jars, some totally intact, were discovered 15 miles from shore in an underwater expanse the size of 3 tennis fields. The jars seemed to be twin-handled amphorae, which were used to transport items such as wheat and wine in the 3rd century, according to Marks, a professional treasure hunter. But how did they get there in the first place? It wasn't until 1500 that the first Europeans arrived in Brazil. The Romans had little motivation to invest in ships that could cross seas because they dealt primarily in Mediterranean port cities and the Middle East. They did, however, make it as far as India. Perhaps an inexperienced navigator got lost in a storm. Maybe the ship was steered westward by mutineers? We may never know, and new evidence is unlikely to be discovered. In an effort to prevent looters, Brazil closed the Bay of Jars to further investigation in 1983. According to Marks, the government did not want the area researched since finding Roman-era relics there would prove that the Portuguese were not the first Europeans to arrive in Brazil, contrary to official history. And what about the truth? It's submerged at a depth of 100 feet. Number 6. What is Area 51? Area 51 is a U.S. military station in southern Nevada whose existence remained unknown until 2013 when the CIA was forced to reply to a Freedom of Information Act request from 2005. Area 51 appears to facilitate the creation and testing of experimental aircraft and weaponry, based on historical evidence. Public satellite pictures, such as those found on Google Maps, offer no information. Even those with security clearance to visit Area 51 are flown there by an airline named Janet, whose planes are unmarked and whose windows are shrouded when they descend. The government's tight secrecy surrounding Area 51 has spawned claims that it is used to store crashed UFOs and conduct alien lab testing. Other ideas concerning Area 51's purpose include time travel research, teleportation research, meetings with extraterrestrials, weather control research, and operations tied to a hidden one-world government. Number 5. Living statues. Between 1917 and 1928, 500,000 people were infected with a dreadful disease that could have come straight out of a horror movie. The victims, who were fully cognizant and alive, found themselves in inexplicable frozen situations, their bodies serving as mental prisons. Encephalitis lethargic, L, sometimes known as sleeping sickness, began in Europe and swiftly spread throughout the world, reaching pandemic proportions in North America, Europe, and India by 1919. About a third of people who contracted the disease died. Nearly half of the survivors eventually became physically unable to interact with the world around them, although being completely aware of their surroundings. Though they were occasionally capable of minimal speech, eye movement, and even laughter, they mostly seemed as living statues, immobile for hours, days, weeks, or even years. Number 4. Who, and where, is D.B. Cooper? November 24, 1971, is the next unsolved mystery. Dan Cooper was a passenger on Northwest Airlines Travel 305, a 30-minute flight from Portland to Seattle. Passengers and flight attendants described him as a middle-aged man dressed in a dark suit, a black tie with a mother-of-pearl tie clip, and a beautifully pressed white-collared shirt. He sat down, smoked a cigarette, and politely asked for a bourbon and soda, which he paid for in cash. He passed a note to a 23-year-old flight attendant shortly after takeoff, who ignored it, figuring it was just the man's phone number. Dan Cooper told her, "Miss, you'd better look at that note, I have a bomb." The note's exact wording is a mystery because Cooper reclaimed it after the flight attendant read it, but his demands were for $200,000 in negotiable American currency, worth $1 million today, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck waiting in Seattle to refuel the plane when it arrived. The captain was informed of the demands of the flight attendant. The president of the airline gave his approval for full cooperation. The other passengers had no idea what was going on because they had been told that the flight had been delayed due to mechanical issues. He leapt to an uncertain fate over southwestern Washington. Despite an extensive manhunt and a 45-year-long FBI investigation, the perpetrator's identity and fate remain unknown. Number 3. Ghost ship the Mary Celeste. The Mary Celeste, a British-American ship, was discovered empty and floating in the Atlantic on December 4, 1872. Except for a lifeboat, which appeared to have been boarded in an orderly manner, it was discovered to be seaworthy and with all of its cargo intact. But why is that? Because no one on board was ever heard from again, we may never know. The Mary Celeste set sail from New York in November 1872, heading for Genoa, Italy. Captain Benjamin Briggs and 7 crew members were on board, including Briggs' wife and their 2-year-old daughter. On board, there were enough supplies for 6 months, as well as luxuries like a sewing machine and an upright piano. Some uncommon and terrifying conditions must have occurred to cause the abandonment of a seaworthy ship, according to commentators. However, nothing strange was noted in the ship's daily log, and everything appeared to be in order on board. Number 2. Sickening noises. A CIA officer with nausea, headache, and dizziness visited the American Embassy's health office in Havana in December 2016. 2 more CIA officers reported similar symptoms a few days later. By late 2018, 26 Americans and 13 Canadians had reported nausea, hearing loss, vertigo, nosebleeds, and difficulty focusing. In every case, sufferers said that a weird noise they heard in their houses or hotel rooms prompted their symptoms. The noise was described as high-pitched by one witness. Another reported the noise as a beam of sound, directed into their rooms. Others claimed it sounded more like pebbles moving across the floor. Medical professionals were baffled by the ailments. Doctors at the University of Pennsylvania diagnosed concussion-like symptoms in several of the victims but found no evidence of concussions. We understand what you're thinking. Isn't the Cuban government up to something? The Cubans deny responsibility vigorously, and many American investigators believe them. This is due to the fact that they are still unsure of who or what caused the victims to become unwell. Number 1. The incident at Dyatlov Pass. 9 ski hikers died unexpectedly in the mountains of what is now Russia on the first night of February 1959. The group had set up camp on a slope the night of the tragedy, enjoyed dinner, and prepared for sleep, but something went horribly wrong, and the group never returned. The hikers' abandoned tent, which had been ripped apart from the inside, was discovered on February 26. Footprints left by the group around the spot, some in socks, some in a single shoe, and some barefoot, all of which continued to the edge of a nearby wood. The first 2 bodies were discovered there, shoeless and only wearing underpants. Hypothermia appeared to be the cause of death at the scene, but as medical examiners examined the remains, as well as the other 7 that were discovered in the months that followed, hypothermia became increasingly implausible. In fact, the evidence was completely incomprehensible. One person exhibited blunt force trauma consistent with a vicious attack. Another had 3rd-degree burns. One was vomiting blood. One was missing a tongue, and some of their clothing was radioactive. That's it for today's video. What do you think about the video? Did you find it interesting? Let us know in the comments section below. As always, please remember to subscribe to Awesome Details and hit that notification bell so you never miss any of our future uploads. Talk to you all in our next video. Take care.